Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. Today I have the newest editions of the Northfolk planners. They have a daily edition, which also has weekly views. So it is your monthly spreads, weekly views, and daily pages. And this one is called the Companion by Northfolk. This one's called the Desk Agenda by Northfolk. And it is just a weekly views, of course, with your months. So we're going to talk about these. This is their second edition, or I would say their second print run of the daily, because these are undated planners. So they do still have their first edition for sale, greatly discounted. And I do have a video on that first edition of their daily. They did not have a weekly in their first print run. So I will link that video down below if you're interested in seeing what's changed from their first edition till now. Also, if you're interested in trying out their first edition since it's greatly discounted. First, we're going to start with their daily, and I'm calling it the daily even though it does have weekly spreads in it also. Is their daily, the Companion. Both of these come with a choice of either the black linen cover or the oatmeal, I believe they call it, linen cover. And they are both beautiful, but I have to say I'm a little bit biased towards the oatmeal. It is just amazingly beautiful. It feels good in the hand. They have this blind embossing, I believe it's called, if I remember that correctly, with their name on the side and the blind embossing on the front. And it just looks really beautiful. It looks like a classy planner. It is a pretty thick book, but I'm going to show you the very special binding which allows it to lay flat when you're writing, even with this thickness. Now it is this thick because you have weekly spreads, monthly spreads, and daily spreads for an entire year, all in this book. And we will talk about the size of it and everything. I have that written down in here. So we're just going to start going from front to back here. What is so special about these planners is, in order to have a book this thick that's easy to write in, that will lay flat, they have this special lay flat Swiss binding right here. And so what it is your book opens like this, but trust me, it is very well made. This feels substantial. You're not going to have any problems with this coming apart during the year. So when you open it up, your book is just not bound in the normal way. It is bound here, and then your cover lies flat like this. This front page is very, very thick. And this is where some of the magic happens here, and I will show you. This also has beautiful blind embossing on it. If your front page was not this thick, then this would not work out. It would not be easy to write in because you need something here that's substantial also to hold your page. So when you open your book, even when you're writing, and we will go through the pages, but I just kind of want to show you, even when you're writing in these very first few pages right here, if I can show you, I just grabbed the closest pen, my Simplified pen next to me, and this is their weekly spread right here. We'll go through that. So the reason why I could write on that easily, right, is because you have the support of this very thick, I wouldn't even call it cardstock. I'm not sure what it's called. I know there's a word for it, but it is definitely way thicker than cardstock. And it helps hold your page in the very beginning. And then, as you can see how that's lying when you write in it, that is how it lays. And then as you open your book and get more to the middle, that is where the magic is. See how that lays flat? Let's take the ribbons out. See how that lays completely flat right there because of this special lay flat Swiss binding. So that's where the magic of this book is, that you can have a book this thick with really nice substantial paper. It is 100 GSM paper, and you have a lot of pages in this book. It is 504 pages. That's counting front and back. So it's 252 sheets in this book. It is 6.5 by 8.5 inches, and it is 1.5 inches thick. So whether you're writing in the very beginning or the very middle or the very end, you just give it a little massage, and these pages are going to lay completely flat for you. That's the magic of that binding. And so all you're going to have to do is, just as you're using your book, when you go more towards the end, you're just going to have to massage it a little bit to get it to lay flat that way. That's what I feel like anyway. That's what the book feels like. So the beginning feels like it lays very easily. And as you go more towards the end, you're just going to have to give it a little massage. And as you work it each day, you're working your way towards the back. it's going to be conditioned to lay there. Since this is an undated planner, we're going to go over all those specs. I want to show you the stickers that come with it to label your tabs. You have a really nice accordion pocket that's going to hold up well and fits a lot in it, and it's just beautiful white on your end pages, just classy. The aesthetic on this is so clean. You have 2 black grosgrain ribbons right here, which will mark your pages. And those are actually hooked in at the back of the book right here, as you can see. There you go. So they come from the back of the book. I do feel like the ribbons could be made a little bit longer in their next print run, but that is honestly the only qualm that I have found with the book. Just because when you grab a ribbon, you want it to be able to go all the way to the end if you want to grab it that way, right? And slide it to the end. And you can't do that with these. And so you need to grab it and open it this way. But you guys know I always like to be honest about everything. So that is what I noticed that, bothered me, but that is the only thing. So it's an undated planner, but it comes with these beautifully done clear stickers to stick on your tabs. Look how nice they look on there. They look really nice. And I didn't even take any time to put these on. So if there's any crooked, that's why. I mean, you can definitely take your time. I just slapped mine on there and they still look beautiful, even though 1 or 2 might be crooked, right? And then when you get to July, that's your second half of the book. And there are the rest of your stickers. They even come with a notes and a grid section. They come with an extra of every month, they tell you. So in case there's anywhere in here, since it's undated, that you wanted to have those monthly labels, you have an extra of every month. Or if you just mess one up, you have an extra of every month. You also have some optional. You could name the last pages projects instead of grid. So those are options. You have some check marks, some dollar signs, and some party, and some arrows. So these stickers come with every planner. You can, of course, start any month you want to since it's undated, but I just went ahead and labeled mine for January. This also comes with every planner. A wonderful year at a glance for 2019. It's on thick cardstock, and on the back, you have 2020. So even though it's undated, you have this reference point in here, and it fits perfectly in the back pocket. So that's really nice to have. All right, let's go through the pen test first, and then we'll go through this layout of the whole book. And this is going to kind of be a long video because I want to get through this book and their other desk agenda, the weekly book. Let's get into this. This companion is $72 for the entire year. I do have a $10 off if it's your first purchase from Northfolk. That is down in the description box. Make sure to follow what it says because you not only have to use my link down in the description box, but then when you get to the checkout page, you have to type 10 off. And that's all written down there in the description box. That's something they've recently changed in their system. So you actually have to take my link, and when you're checking out, you have to type in 10 off. And it has to be your first purchase with them. Here are all the pens that I've used, all my normal pens and my mild liner that I use in every planner pretty much. And it's 100 GSM paper. And I want to show you the back here. So you can see that there is very little ghosting. Nothing is bleeding through. The closest thing would be the Pilot fountain pen. Sorry, I didn't show that. Since I've had so many requests to show fountain pens, I did buy a Pilot fountain pen off Amazon, and that one is down here, and that is of course the one that is showing through the most right there. This is 100 GSM paper. I think they pretty much got the thickest paper they could with keeping the book to this size. So let's just look at the daily layout, and then we'll go through all the extra pages because I'm sure most of you guys are really interested in the daily layout. These are their daily pages. You can circle your day right here, and you have the day of the month written really big right there in their beautiful font. And I love that they added that in. Even though it's undated, you get your month day written in there for every day. And I love that. You circle what day of the week it is. Then you have 3 lines for your 3 priorities of the day. You have 8 water droplets to fill in. You have a vitamin pill you can check off, fill in, X out. You have a heart, like a heart rate, you can check off. So for your workout, so you can either check these off, fill them in, X them out, whatever you want to do. What did I do on my page? I colored in the water droplets and then I X'd them out. I know if I was doing this every day, I would not probably color them in. I would definitely X out or check them off myself. Then you have a task list right here with your bullets to check off right there. And then you have 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. You have a good long day there. And there is a line break here for if you have appointments on the half hour. So you can definitely use that line break, and this is your 5:30 appointment or your 8:30 appointment. And if you don't have a half hour appointment, you can definitely use the entire line. Then you have just a blank note section at the bottom to utilize however you wish. So that is your daily page layout. Let's look at the weekly layout in here. So for let's go to the next month. Well, we'll stop here because we have our monthly layout on the way. Here's your monthly layout. I filled out my January monthly layout. I'm all over today. I filled this out so you guys could kind of see how it looks filled out. And I like how they give you a little box to put every number in, because for someone who's not so neat, that helps my planner look much neater if I have that guidance of that little box right there. I just wrote in some events and holidays so you guys could kind of, see how it looks filled in and how big the boxes are. You circle the month that you're on, or you could highlight it, color it in, do whatever you want. Over here, they have a monthly tip every month, and then they have a note section. Then you have an important date section. So if you want to remember anyone's birthdays or anniversaries or just big events that month that you want something to stand out, they have given you that separate section to fill it in. Then every month after your monthly spread, so your monthly spread is on the tabbed page right here. After your monthly spread, you get a finance tracker for every single month. So one of the things they wanted to do is include everything you would need into this book. So you wouldn't need any other books or notebooks, that everything you need would be in this book. So here's a finance tracker. You have a due date, what's the bill, what's the amount, and then did you pay it, a checkoff box. And you have 2 big sections of that each month, and then your monthly grand total down here. Then you have a habit tracker for every month. And on this habit tracker, you get a square for every single day, so you could check it off, X it off, color it in. You have numerous lines here for habits. You have 14 habit lines here, which I know I would never utilize that many, but it's nice to have them there for those, I guess, who really like to track a lot of different habits. Then you have this section around the house. So things you want to track that you're doing around the house. Maybe this could be a cleaning schedule that you're tracking and checking off. Maybe it could just be things around the house that need to get done that month, and it's not going to be something you track, every week or every day. It's just going to be something you want to make sure that you check off and gets done around the house that month. So that's your habit tracker, which also has your house, around the house list. Then you go into your weekly spreads. You get 5 of these for every month, so you will not run out on those longer months. Your weekly spreads are all together. So after your monthly view, which is on the tab, then you have your finance tracker, your habit tracker for the month. Then you go into your 5 weekly spreads for the month. Your weekly spread is just labeled like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, straight down here. And you have a blank space to put your date in there, like, 1, 2, 3. And you have a column labeled meals there and kind of divided off with a dotted line. You can, of course, use that for your meal for the day. If you don't meal plan and you don't want to use that, I'm sure you can find some other way to utilize that space. It could be your workout for the day. It could be a gratitude for the day. Anything that you want to put in there. The weather for the day. Then you have a pretty good amount of room here. What this weekly spread is to give you not only meal planning, okay, but it's also to give you your week at a glance. So you can easily look here and see, okay, what's my week looking like? Like you might have your big appointments on here. And so you can easily glance at your whole week, because in a daily planner, it's hard to get that, scope of your whole week without a glance at a whole week. So that is a really nice feature that you have your weeks in here. After your 5 weekly layouts, that's when you go into your daily layouts for the month. So you have your 5 weekly layouts for the month. Then you have all your daily pages for the month. 1 through 31, they give you every month, because you don't know when you're going to be starting this planner and how many days will be in that month. So for instance, on shorter months, you're just going to have some extra pages. Like February, you could of course use for notes or just leave them blank so they're in there. You will never run out of pages. And with this being tabbed, it is very easy to find your months right here. I mean, super easy. The tabs turn right to your month. So if you're planning ahead on those monthly layouts, and every month follows that same pattern. You have your finance tracker, your habit tracker, your 5 weekly layouts, and then your first day of the month always starts right here on the right-hand side. Now, we didn't go through these beginning pages, so let's go ahead and go through those, and then we'll go through the end pages. You have your nameplate page right here. You have a little note from Sam and Rachel, the creators of this planner from Northfolk Paper. You have a little sample page here to kind of show you how they might use their weekly layout and how they might utilize their daily layout. So they're just one page of a little example. Then they have a little goal section. Here are the categories they give you: financial, personal, work, family, lifestyle, and they leave one blank for whatever section you feel like you need to fill in there in your life. Your 5-year goals, your 10-year goals. Then they even have a debt payoff right here calendar. They tell you how you can use it. There's actually 2 options how you could use this to track debt payoff on 10 different bills. So they tell you 2 options of how to use this debt payoff. You have also, if you want to follow their plan, you're going to have saved $1,000 by the end of the year. So this is pretty cool. You don't have to utilize this page. You can put in any amount you want, but they've put in really light gray for every week of the year what amount they suggest. And they range from $1 to, I think the highest is $35. And by the end of the year, you're going to have saved $1,000 if you follow their suggested savings deposit. So this is their 52 weeks of savings page. And you see how those numbers are in really light gray. So if you wanted to replace them with something else, you would just write over them in a dark black pen. So you could definitely deposit more than that or less than that and just write over those numbers with a dark pen. I actually really like that they figured that out and gave you these random amounts that if you save per week, that's per week, you guys, not per day, you will have $1,000 extra by the end of the year. Imagine that. That could just be like your holiday fund for Christmas presents for your kids. You know, not that I only have 2 kids, so I definitely don't spend $1,000. I can tell you that, but you know what I'm saying. So I think that's just a really cool little quirky feature. Then you have, I really like this page too. You have your current year calendar here. It is every month of the year across the top, and then it goes all the way down to 31 days for all those months that have 31 days. This is for tracking anything you want to. It's an overview of the entire year. You can see your whole year scoped right here. You could just write in big events here. So it could be like you're pre-planning for the whole year and you want to see like vacations and days off school and things like that. You could also use it to track habits for sure. I mean, and color things in. You could make it really cool and visual that way. You could use it to scribble in like one good thing that happened every day or a daily gratitude. If you can fit it in there really small, imagine how the whole year would look when it's done. So there are just all kinds of creative things you can do with this current yearly overview. And I really like this in a planner. Then this is an extra page of a year overview, and it says the following year. So you can look a year ahead. So let's say you're starting to plan for 2020. When you're in this book, you label this 2020 and you can plan vacations, days off, whatever you want right here. This is your next year overview. So I really appreciate those features. Then when you get to the very back, when December ends, you're going to go straight into some lined note pages. So there's the last day of December. Then you go straight into lined notes pages and you can label that section with their sticker. And I do like that it's tabbed so it's easy to find your notes. So you have a couple lined note pages here, and then you have a couple grid pages right here, and you can also label that section. And then that is the end of your Northfolk Companion. Your everything in one, weekly, daily, monthly views, all in this book. Like I said, both of these books come in both covers. So they just sent me the companion in this cover and the desk agenda in the black, but they both come in both covers. All right, this one's going to go a little bit faster because a lot of these pages are the same. This is your desk agenda. It has the exact same binding. This is your weekly planner. So even though it's substantially smaller, they still gave you the same amazing lay flat Swiss binding. Everything is the same about it. This book lays so flat. It feels so nice to have this much space to write. Let's go to my pen test page where all the specs are and talk about that first. In this book, you only get one grosgrain ribbon, and once again, it comes from the back, so it does have the same length issue, in my opinion, but you get the same grosgrain ribbon, but you just get one because it's a weekly planner. I went ahead and filled out this week for you guys. When I was working on it, it happened to be the week of Thanksgiving. I just wanted to show you how black and blue pens look in it and how the dates look and filled in a little bit. So I didn't do the full pen test because we already did it in the other planner, and they both have the exact same paper, the 100 GSM. It's bright white paper. It feels really smooth, but it's not slick. So in my opinion, it's good paper. It feels good. It takes pen well, and this is what it looks like on the back when it's written on. You can barely even tell it was written on there. On this page where I'm using just all my black or blue pens. They give you, I feel like the weekly columns are huge, you guys, just huge compared to any other weekly planner with columns. And this is why. Number one, this book is bigger. It's 8 inches by 10 inches, and it's 0.75 inches thick, but it's 8 by 10 inches. And they use every ounce of page real estate for these columns. I love that they've done that. I do not like when you have huge margins wasted on your page that you could use for planning. They have utilized every ounce of page space here. So look at that. These columns are substantial, you guys. When I was writing in them, it just felt like I had tons of room for a vertical weekly planner. So if we're going from line to line, it's 2¼ inches. 2¼ inches from line to line. And then, I mean, your column is pretty much almost the whole book. So 9½. Usually when I'm writing in a vertical weekly planner, I usually like to write longer phrases like this, my list for the day. And I feel, like I have to take 3 to 4 lines to write out just one of my items. Not so in this planner. These columns feel substantial. Also, these boxes feel substantial. Nothing feels squished in to me. Although you do have to share Saturday and Sunday. So if that is something that, is a deal breaker, then you need to know that. You do have to share Saturday and Sunday. I did not even mention in the daily. You have a typical Monday start for your weekly in both the planners and on the dailies, and your months are a typical Sunday start in these planners. So it's typical for our planners here in America, and nothing's different there. You have room for a top 3 priorities every day. Then you have room for a meal every day, or you could use that box for something else if you're not meal tracking. You have the same 8 water droplets, your vitamin pill, and your heart there for your workout. This book has 276 pages in it. Both of these books are designed in the US, but printed and bound in China. And your Saturday and Sunday, you can see, is much smaller because you just have priorities, meal, you do have your trackers, and then you just have a few lines. So it's the same for Saturday and Sunday. They get the same amount of space. They're divided exactly in half. Let's go from the beginning of this book and show you what comes in this beauty. This is once again called their desk agenda, and it is their weekly planner. You have a nameplate page, the same note from Sam and Rachel right here, the same 1-page sample use for your weekly agenda, so kind of how they would use it. Examples here if you want to time block things out and not just list things in your column. So that's nice to have that 1 page. You have your same goals page, but they have filled in the last column for you in this one as home. So you have financial, personal, work, family, lifestyle, home. Same 5-year, 10-year goal. So all that's the same as the daily. Your pages are just bigger. Same debt payoff as the daily. Your same 52 weeks of savings as the daily. It's just bigger. And it does seem, substantially bigger to the eyes when you're looking at it. You have your current year overview, this awesome page that I love, and your following year, your next year overview. Then you go straight into your first month, which I labeled as January. Your boxes are a lot bigger, as you can tell, but it is the exact same layout. You have your monthly tip, your notes, and your important dates. So the exact same layout as the daily. You have the same financial tracker and the same habit tracker. Then you go straight into your weekly views, and you have 5 weeks for every month. To your 5 weeks for every month, you get this 2-page just list spread with all these tick boxes. So you could use this for your goals, for your projects, of course, for journaling in between months, for monthly lists, for gift lists, whatever you want to use that for. And then you get 2 pages of just plain lined. And these are in between every month. Then you go into your next month. And that is how this planner flows. So in between every month are those same pages. You're getting the 2 pages of your tick off lists with 2 columns per page, your lined 2-page layout, and then a 2-page blank layout. I guess I didn't mention that. You could definitely write on these blank pages. So you really have 6 pages between each month. Then at the very end of your book, after December, you have the same as the daily. You have a notes section, but you have a few more notes pages in this one. There are more notes pages because this book is not as thick and they didn't have to take that into consideration. So your lined notes pages come first, just like the daily, and then your grid note pages. Then you have the same awesome accordion pocket, and it comes with the same sticker page, 2 stickers per month, just like the daily, and all the same extras, and your 2019 year at a glance and 2020 year at a glance. They both come with those. So that is your Northfolk weekly agenda. And then your daily is called the companion. And once again, they both come in oatmeal and black. They both have the same blind embossing on the front and on the sides. It's just a really beautiful, classy planner. Quite unique from most of the market and being undated yet still coming with tabs. I feel like it gives you the most for an undated planner that they can give you, with giving you the tabs to label and also giving you all the months out. You don't even have to write it in. You're circling it or highlighting it, giving you the days out to circle, and also numbering every single day of the month. I would love to hear your thoughts on these. I'd love to hear from anyone who has already gotten one or plans to get one or used the first print run of the Northfolk Daily, which was quite different. They didn't have this same binding and they only did it in a 6-month book, their first print run. So it was quite different. All right, guys, don't forget, if you are purchasing for the first time from Northfolk, I have that coupon down in the description box. Make sure to follow the directions. Thanks for watching. Happy planning, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.